Hello, my friends, my warriors. This is Mary Mac of the Mary Mac Show. I want to talk to you today about how you can't be the way you were before your loved one died. Now, I know there are some superficial losses in our life that we have for people who we really weren't all that close to. And of course, we would probably go back to work, go back to our lives after their funeral, and kind of move forward just like any other day of the week. We might have also gone to someone else's loved one's funeral, and that was out of respect for the person who died and the persons who were now surviving their death. But it didn't have an exceptional impact on you. You did it mostly out of respect and kindness. You might have even said some dreaded words like, I'll be there for you. And you knew darn well you wouldn't be. But we digress. What I'm trying to get to right now is that if this was an exceptionally close person to you, if this was a loving spouse, fiance, child, if this was your sibling or your parents, your grandparents, people that you really loved, it's going to take you some time to get more acclimated to a different lifestyle without them. Because the biggest problem with grief, unfortunately, is that it changes you. It changes who you are. You're never going to be the same person you were before they died. You just aren't. And I know people will want you to be that way. They'll want you to be back to the way you were, but it's not going to happen. And maybe there are parts of you that may go back to the way you were, but not always. Not always. And so I don't want you to feel guilty about this. This is something that happens after the death of a loved one. You change. You change a lot. And the people around you who are also grieving, they're changing. And so sometimes, especially for husbands and wives, if you lost a child, you're grieving at different intervals, different timing, different ways. Some one of you may be very emotional, and the other one is like, I just have to keep moving on. There's no right way to do grief. There isn't. I know you'd like me to give you a recipe from, put this amount of sugar in here, this much flour, and everything will work out just fine. But it doesn't. There is no recipe for grief. It's something that you have to figure out yourself and not feel guilty because you think that you're not figuring it out in the way that somebody else would like you to. Okay? So do not feel guilty for the reactions you have. They are all natural and normal, and the chances of you being the exact same person you were before they died or before they became very ill, that's not going to happen. You lost someone you loved dearly, and you have to give it time, a lot of time, until you figure out your next steps in life. You are bold. You are strong. You may not think you are, but you are. You're going to get through this. You might be a different person on the other side. And if you are, that's perfectly fine. And the other thing you have to remember is no two deaths that you've ever experienced, no two deaths will be the same grieving process. It won't. You grieve for everyone differently. And how you come out on the other side is something you will just have to wait and see. But in the process, there will be people who want you to be back to normal or what they consider to be normal. And that's not possible. You have a different outlook on life now that they've died. You've had to make different, maybe sacrifices in your life since they died. You know you do. Your health is different. Your mental health is different. And it's just not possible to be the same exact individual who you were before others passed away. So I want you to be gentle with yourself. Make sure you understand that this is all part of the grieving process. You are different and you are perfectly fine being different. Other people may not like the fact that you're different, but we can only do so much for them. We're not responsible for how they deal with their grief. We're not responsible for how they deal with our grief. Everybody grieves differently, and it's perfectly natural and normal. And so I want to just remind you, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Whatever comes up for you, it's okay. This may be the first death you've ever experienced. And if it is, it's an eye opener, isn't it? But there are wonderful people in this world who are there to support you. Yes, they are. And I spoke about that last week. I want you to be good to yourself, understand what you're going through is fine, it's normal, natural. And each person who dies in your life, you will grieve for them differently based on the relationship you had with them, how long you knew them, how much you loved them, how much they loved you. Just know you're going to be okay. There will come a time where you won't miss them as much, but you'll always miss them. You won't feel that, that really stinging kind of pain that you do right now. There will come a time where that stinging pain will subside slowly. You may not think about them every single moment of the day. And then you'll catch yourself and wonder why you aren't. But you'll realize you're healing. You're healing. So I love you. Be good to yourself. Whatever comes, comes. And you will deal with it and adapt to it along the way. Bless you. I'll see you soon.